Well, hey guys, welcome back to Hope Rescue Podcast. It's us again, Kimberly and Tim
You say
Scott.
that like it's disappointing.
Listen, it's just us.
We'd love it to be somebody else, but it's us.
You got us again.
You got us again.
One more week, and we're glad to be here.
Yeah.
But this is our 8th week in a 9-week series. No, not 10, but 9.
yeah.
And just so you know,
I think I've been
Resistant.
gotten in trouble for not having 10.
I don't know,
gotta
there's-
come up with one more thing.
oh no, we can make stuff up. We can keep going if you want us to, but I think 9 is good. But today is a good one. It's on RESPECT.
Wow. Okay, babe.
Respect.
Is that Aretha?
That's Urethra.
Oh, Aretha.
That's your Retha
wonder
and my
why.
Retha.
Yeah. Well, wow, babe. That is serious. You
No
can find-
disrespect to the queen.
Yeah, content is very solid here at Hope Rescue
I'm actually
Podcast.
feeling a little lightheaded because I'm ready for lunch. So this could go all kinds of ways.
It really could, and let's not add.
And I'm so thin
Yeah,
that I'm fragile. So my blood sugar and everything.
she's got her hand on my hand under the table.
Cracking myself
Like
up.
I'm so thin.
I feel so faint. I might melt.
All right.
Anyway,
well, listen.
I am
we're
feeling
talking
giddy.
about respect.
Yes.
RESPECT.
ECT.
It's the only way I know how to spell that is sing that song.
Yes.
Anyway, we in this series we've talked about the 9. We are talking about the 9 character traits of successful relationships: patience, confidence, self-esteem, passion, optimism, flexibility, humility, and today we're going to talk about respect, number 8. Number 9 is gratitude. We'll get to that next week. And here's the anchor verse for this, Romans 12:10. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing respect. I love this word outdo. As I look at that word, the original language, this was written in Greek by Paul to the church at Rome. And when he wrote it, he used this word that in the Greek that means to lead the way. In other words, to be first, to rush to the front of the line, so to speak.
That's good.
To be first in respect. This is how it would read. Love one another with brotherly affection. Run to the front toward one another in showing respect. Be the first one to respect. If there's anything you're going to race to win at respect.
That's
Respect
good.
is critical for relationships. And
And
so
don't you find that's missing, like in our culture today, the concept of respect? Like, obviously our world is pretty upside down, but I've never known a time where there's more disrespect for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
People in leadership, regardless, inside the church, outside the church, in homes, between spouses, children to teachers. Like there is just such a lack of respect. And so this is going to be a really good topic because it filters, it can filter through all of those things, and we're missing it.
Yeah, the little elementary school by our house where our kids grew up, they had 1 year at a special magnet school or whatever it was called. But they came back. They loved that school, that elementary
Little
school.
neighborhood school.
Yeah, little elementary school. Actually, it wasn't little, but anyway, it was a good one. And great principals. We had 2 really good principals, great teachers. And when you came in above the entryway, it had all of these things that you're supposed to respect. Respect other people's property, respect people's space, respect people's, I can't remember all the details, but it was like 10 things.
Yes.
Wasn't 9 like our mind, it was 10. But anyway, it was such a profound impact on those kids. They saw it every day. I bet you they still have that at that school.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
the name of that elementary
Rosebank
school?
Elementary.
Rosebank
Represent.
Elementary. Yeah.
Yes.
But so we want to talk about respect in relationships and how that affects things. Respect, by definition, is honor, esteem for others, for your partner, And what this does is it raises safety. So if you show respect to your spouse, if you show respect to your children, if you show respect to your parents, show respect to your coworkers, if you show respect to your pastor or the people in your church, what's going to happen is it's going to create an environment of safety. Now, you cannot secure safe feelings in people's heart, but you can create an environment for it. And when you create that environment, relationships flourish in safety.
Right.
Without safety, they're hampered. They shut
Yes.
down. It's essential for love and intimacy in a marriage is respect. If you
Right.
don't have it, it's going your marriage is going to be adversely affected.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing about respect. What's the second thing?
I think the
Or do you
second
want
thing,
to say
these are
something about
ways
that?
to be able to show respect. And
Yeah.
I think that a really practical one is kind of, we touched on it last week, but is to show appreciation for that person. Say the words of appreciation for that person, whether it's your partner, your coworker, your child, your local community leader, the officer that shows up at the accident.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
these are ways to be able to demonstrate respect, is to use your words, your demeanor, kindness to the barista, and use your words to express appreciation to them and find something, the checker at the grocery store. Thank you so much for putting that stuff in a bag for me, just using your words. I think that's so what's missing in society today, and even in our homes. Children, obviously, as parents, you want them to respect you, but we also need to respect that they're humans developing, and we can use our words to call them into that, like, wow, I really appreciate how kind you were to your little sister. That was really awesome to watch you. Thank you for being responsible in picking up your room. I'm so proud of you for doing that,
Yeah, I think that, what you believe about people is going to impact whether you appreciate and respect them.
Yes.
So, for example, if you believe that people are out to get you, if you actually believe that, you're not going to appreciate them and you're not going to respect
Right.
them. I worked with a guy, he said, all the time, people are out to get me and, they're trying to sabotage me. And that was his belief. He
Yes.
genuinely believed that. And what it did, it affected the way he talked to people. He talked down to them. He talked rudely to them.
Or like he was being cornered, so he would attack.
He would attack.
Yeah.
And the problem was he is a good guy, but he had a false belief about the people around them. And he literally thought everybody was out to get him. And, there's some baggage from childhood and so forth, but
Right.
appreciation
Yeah.
is really powerful. You have to believe not these negative things. You really need to appreciate people.
Find something to appreciate,
Yeah,
to raise
absolutely.
your
Yes.
respect for someone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 3, in showing respect, you must make a distinction between values. And what we mean by that is this. There's 2 kinds of values. And I want to explain this because I want you to get it. We've shared this before. It's a recurring thing that we want to talk about. And that is the difference between what's called instrumental value and intrinsic value. Let me explain those. Instrumental value is when you talk about an instrument, you're talking about something that is used for something else. In other words, if you are a great singer, that's an instrument that you use to edify people or to, make people feel good. If you are intelligent, you would have instrumental value. You have intelligence that's used for some goal. These are, everybody has certain values, or not values, but certain value they bring
Right.
on an instrumental level.
Right.
There's also intrinsic value. Now, intrinsic value has very little to do with what your talents are. They have to do with who you are at your very core. See, every single human being, no matter what they bring to the table, they have intrinsic value.
Yeah.
It's a value that's given to us by God. God has instilled in us this value that of sacredness, that human beings
Yes.
are created in the image of God. We are sacred to God. And then when I see your sacredness, Kimberly, when you see my sacredness, when I see my friend's sacredness, I don't see them for what they can get for me or provide for me. I see them on how God sees them. They're sacred to God. Therefore, they should be sacred to me. Respect starts with understanding somebody's intrinsic value, not their instrumental value. What do they bring to the table? Well, that's kind of irrelevant to respect. I respect that person because they are created in the image of God.
I appreciate you defining that, just because I was thinking as you were speaking how there are people listening thinking to themselves, what if this person doesn't deserve respect? What if they have not acted in a way that deserves respect? They haven't earned it, or if anything, they've undermined respect. Yeah. But I like that you distinguish that, because it really doesn't come down to what they've done or not done. It comes down to how God sees them and their value, and us taking on that perspective. Yeah. And you can give respect to that. And I'm here with you in that there are some people where you're just like, I don't respect them. What you can respect is that they were created in God's image, and they're not living up to their potential in that, but they matter to him.
Yeah. And maybe focus on saying it this way, or maybe restate it. I don't respect what that person did,
right,
or how
actions.
This person behaves, but I respect that they are a child of God, a sacred, created human being,
right,
and deserving of that level of respect.
Right.
So, one of the things I want to clarify, because some people think about respect this way, that I have to diminish myself in order to respect my partner. No, that's not true.
Right.
You can respect yourself. You can have a high view of self, or a confident view of self, and still respect somebody else. What you need to perceive the value, what you need to do is perceive the value of your partner or your friend or whomever you're in a relationship with as intrinsically equal with you. And again, like Kimberly brought up, that person may not be due respect for what they do, but they should have respect for who they are,
right,
as a human being.
Right.
So,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And being respected will bring life to you and intimacy with your partner. Being disrespected, however, will shut down the most open individuals because they don't feel safe to be transparent. And boy, that is the truth, huh? If you feel like you're disrespected by someone, you are not able to receive anything they have to say.
Yeah. I have said before, and I think I mean it. I mean, as I analyze this, I value being respected over loved.
Yeah. I think a lot of men do. And I don't know if that's just a guy thing or...
Respect feels like love to me.
Right.
And yet at the same time, I think there is an insecurity that drives some of that. Like, I want to be loved, of course, but I want to be respected. And I think it's because maybe I didn't feel respected as a child. And so there's a deficit that drives that. But I do think, like you said, I do think men have a tendency to want to be respected, and love is important, but respect is such a high value for men.
Yeah.
I know for women, safety and love and are so high.
Right. But respect is up there.
It is up there, yeah.
It's really up there. I think it's part of a human need.
So let's just talk about a few things how to develop. Now, what we've done on each one of these essential traits has been talked about how to develop them. So we want to talk about how to develop respect. We read this verse, Romans 12:10 says, love one another with brotherly love. And then you remember we mentioned this word, outdo one another in respect. So chase after that respect. Seek to be the first to respect is what that means. So this is how you start respect. And we've already talked about it, but I want to make it clear. If you want to develop respect for others in your life, start with your creator, the creator of humanity. That person that you don't have respect for is loved and created by God. And God has respect for that person as a sacred human being. Now, you may not respect what they do. We've talked all over this, but what we need to rush as quickly to respect others as a high priority. So think about your creator. He created you, he created others. Now, some people aren't living up to who they are in God and as a created being. And, we're image bearers.
Right.
And we're not very good. We're bearing the image of God.
Right.
And we maybe don't do that well. I've messed
We
that
were
up
designed
many times.
to carry that.
But we did.
Yeah.
We're flawed. We're sinful
Yeah.
and so forth. But when I respect another person, even though they're deeply flawed, I respect them for who they are in God. So I start with, if you want to have respect for others, start with the Creator.
Yeah, that's good. And then if you want to develop respect for others, be the first to praise your partner.
Yeah.
And partner, friend, again, fill in the blank. But be the first one to lead in that. And we're circling back here with this, but just it's so important to be able to speak those things. Find something to be able to praise them for. Even if it's simple, get creative. But what it does is it raises their sense of respect for themselves, so they're able to actually offer that back to you. It's not that it's like you're doing it for that purpose, but it does. It's a result of that. Is when you're fueling someone else's sense of themselves, they're able to feel more self-respect, and then they're able to give that away.
Yeah. I heard a podcast in which this guy was talking about, he was in it was a counseling situation. He's talking about his wife, and he said, my body tells me I need to have sex every day. And his wife is saying, we have different views on this. I don't feel that drive. I do value sex, but I don't feel a need to have it every day. He said, that's my need. I need to have that every day. I need to own who I am. And never in this, and the podcaster was saying, notice carefully, he never said he's going to listen to his own body, but he never said, I need to listen to my partner's body.
Right.
And what she feels or what he feels his need is. So oftentimes we fight for my rights.
Right.
I fight for for sexual intimacy, or I fight for my right to be respected or heard or valued. And yet we're not doing it for our partner.
We're not fighting for their rights.
We've become
Right.
selfish. And respect is not a self-centered act.
Yeah.
Respect is a centered on the other person and on God who created that person.
Yeah, that's good. Which
So,
leads into
yeah.
number 4 is that
Number 3.
I'm
Did
sorry,
you get
number
that?
3. You by practicing respect, you're actually consciously raising the value of others.
Yeah.
So think of it as a practice, and you get used. It's in an exercise of respect and being intentional to give that away to others, and raising their value, and I think we do have to do it consciously because it doesn't always come naturally.
Yeah.
But investing that time and focus to be able to consciously raise the value of others by giving away respect to them in those areas that you can with integrity.
Yeah. And we mentioned that men really value being respected. And that's true. And I mean, that's broad brush. And I know that goes both ways.
Right.
And women want that too. Forget that. Be the first to fight for giving respect.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's really important. So it doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter even the stage in life or where
Right.
you're at.
Right.
Just give that respect. So number 1, if you want to develop respect, start with the Creator. God created us all. Number 2, be first to praise. Fight to give that praise and respect. Number 3, consciously raise the value of others. And number 4, when you talk about your rights and needs, acknowledge your partner's rights and needs, kind of like what we were just talking about. This is essential to respect and safety. Here's what you need to understand. Your relationships, by their very nature, demand, in order for intimacy, they demand safety.
Yes.
Without safety,
Absolutely.
your friendships are not what they need to be. If you are sharing intimate details with somebody about your friend, with somebody else, you're gossiping, that person is not going to feel safe. If you demean them for everything they say, they're not going to feel safe. If you treat them like they are your minions or less than you, they're not going to feel safe. If you want your marriage, your friendships, your coworker, your colleagues, if you want there to be good safety, you're going to have to give respect. It's absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Respect is a component part of every single
Right.
relationship.
Right.
So we're talking about the essential character traits of relationships. How are you approaching these? Are you patient? Are you confident? Do you have self-esteem? Are you passionate? Are you optimistic? Are you flexible? We talked about. Are you humble? And number 8, do you show respect? And next week we're going to talk about what it means to be grateful. Gratitude is
Look
not only
forward to
good
that
for
one.
your mental health, it's good for your relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
So-
Awesome.
Well,
Sounds
it's been great having you with us, and we are going to meet you next week at this time as this is released from Hope Rescue Podcast. Invite your friends to come to hoperescuepodcast.org, and you can look at anything we have in our archives there. We've got a lot on relationships, on religion and spirituality, as well as social and psychological needs. So there's a lot that we approach. That's why we call ourselves Hope Rescue. We want to rescue the hearts and lives of people. So thanks for listening. We come to you with a heart that says thank you for all that you do in helping us in this ministry. Thanks for those that give. And thanks for listening this week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.